And if you're hearing the pan in the background, you will realize that we are at the home of the Siparia Deltones. Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. Very happy to be speaking with the captain and the driller, Mr. George Caesar. Thank you for making the time, sir. Now you start off saying captain and driller. It wasn't all planned. What do you mean by that?
So I would have joined the band in 2003 thereabouts, after having seen this steel band that from my community. I don't know nothing about that. So they were doing like a play out on the basketball court in Siparia. And I watching this young lady, I've never seen her before in this world. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's the catalyst that would have brought me to the Panyard. But in a week time, I was not studying and I was on the music. I couldn't believe this was going on right in my backyard. You know, and then when we started, I grew up in the church and them kind of things, and you always have kind of leadership responsibilities. And then they realize, but wait, George, you know, just the way that you are with, because we predominantly youth, and the way that you are with the youth and how you're able to get to their level and then bring them up, and you know, this is something, those are the qualities of the captain. So they become the captain, and I used to play bass in the band, and then the music needed that finer touch now. The music needed that little bit more. And there I started drilling. And I didn't know that was such a fun. That was so out of this world to me. The ability to call for something and get it now, and to see them put it all behind it, magnificent. And that's how it started.
And the way you talk about out of this world, I've seen you in front of the band while the band is going through. And I don't know if it's because somebody flinging you up or you're literally getting high off of the music, but sometimes I feel you're more off the ground than on the ground.
That position in front of the band is like a place where just get all the music coming. I'm not sure like what the judges is here, but I'm sure what I does here. And what I hear, what you just see is just a reaction to that. I'm not trying, okay, at this part here, 5 minutes, 34 seconds, we are going to jump, and no, as the story building, and you just allow yourself to become that conduit by which the music flows through. And what you see is, you know, just that reaction to the music, basically.
But do you ever find you have to balance? So yes, you're a conduit and you're responding to what it is you're getting, but you also have to balance holding on to a level of saying, okay, well, at 6 minutes, okay, we just jump at 5 minutes 32. At 6 minutes, I want to get this something from this section. So you have, is that kind of balance of discipline and yet release?
It is, because you start realizing that you can't jump for the whole song. You know, there are parts and how the arranger brings across the music. Some parts are right, well, catch your breath here, because you know we come into that big part now that requires a lot of energy. So just while the music is happening and how many nights you do this, you realize, okay, this part here is where you'll catch your breath. This part here is where you'll be able to gallivant yourself a little bit more. And then you know, the parts, as the parts come, they themselves lend to you being the person that you are. You know, so it's just that really.
Okay. Now we're talking about Pan, and we're talking about you and Pan and your role with Deltones. But I want you to talk about the role that you see for Deltones in the community and possibly beyond. Because you started off saying, is a young lady bringing to the Panyard, you never saw her before. A week passed and you realize there's so much more
Definitely.
So with that kind of understanding, and I talking about pause racing a little bit, what do you think is the role of Deltones in this community?
I think to get the role of the orchestra and the organization, we have to go back to the foundation of the band. This was a train station. This would have been the last stop coming south. So a lot of produce, a lot of machinery, a lot of mechanics and people would have migrated via the train. The story is told of a man who killed a man and trying to get away from the law. He jumped on the train and fall asleep and end up in Siparia. That man is the founder of the band, because the man they went to ask them to make some pan for them. It was really a social club, something like what the youth club is today, and they just wanted an arm of the youth club to be the pan. And really and truly they went to this gentleman who they say kill a man on the train and fall asleep. And he now making a life in Siparia. And they went to him to make some pan. So the train would have been that vehicle that would have bring people and different cultures, and so we take that seriously. We are a melting pot, the cornucopia of the things that happen around Siparia somehow are all displayed here. You know, a lot of the talent we have, a lot of the different foods that we have, the culmination somehow ends up here. So our position is to really be the melting pot to start with, but also the house that makes sure and that gives credence to the idea that you have. Cause I want to make a tomato tulum, but I ain't sure now. No, this is the place where you come and get that. Yeah, but why not? Why not tomato tulum? You know, so we pushing the boundaries of what is the box, and we're looking to go out of the box as well. And these are the places that give credence to those ideas. Because wife I'm born here.
So you know, you cannot be truly independent if you're food independent. And if you're growing where you eat and you're eating where you grow, then where you gonna know?
The idea of wife farm came from here. Alpha was a pan player. And
If you say that, you're vexed, you know, because you say he is still.
well, no. I'm saying at that point in time when the idea came up, Alpha played pans. So that thing of, hey, think big. Right in the yard, no, don't you think big, boy. That in itself give a certain leeway for things to be born out of this self. So that we roll. Our role is to find and to nurture and to display. That's what we roll is.
And to me, it gives even more significance to not just the song, but the idea behind meeting place.
Definitely.
And so you talk about Y Farm. Talk a little bit about Let's Build It.
Pan is the greatest upcycled material the world has ever seen. The upcycling project that is the steel pan is the greatest in the world. I ain't sure where you could else find a $50 drum that converted into something like $7, and in other cases $10,000 and $15,000 instruments. So when we realize, okay, we are upcycled materials, then we look for upcycling, and where we could upcycle again, where we could use this idea of the steel pan elsewhere. And then we came up with the pallets. And we came up with the pallets because we wanted to get away from the plastic seating that it is at a rent in every venue. Yeah, we wanted to come away from plastic chairs, and everybody, even does look like plastic chairs. But remember, we just push the envelope here. So we call our gentleman, he's play pans as well, and he built the first chair. So it started with the pan, and then we realized we need the seat in here, and then we get onto pallets. But we didn't stop there, because after you use a pan for a certain amount of time, a lot of people just end up using it as dustbins. And then they just cut it open and use that as the hole for the latrine. No, we wanted to use those discarded pans for something better. Yeah, here the idea for railway pizza come along. So the pizza is baked in old discarded pans. No, so we bring it straight back to pan being the greatest upcycle project that there is.
And what I appreciate about that as well, that point, is that many times you would have, we take something out of the earth or something at primary level, and then somebody from outside adds value versus it being done something in-house. So that's really something to look at.
And that's just a fantastic, because sometimes you just want to believe, well, you're mad, innit? Yes, sometimes when you look at the ideas.
Well, that tomato tulum
they
really out of the box.
And I mean, they come so far, you get accustomed to pushing the envelope. Sometimes you could end up being a kind of outsider kind of way. Because people are like, what nonsense? What now? Okay, we here, all right, we see the pallets, okay, we see the pizza. What now? Oh gosh, whatever happened to Sweetie? Whatever happened to that little, you know, what? No, why all of this have to be so extra as they put it now? But we think that, how else? In the Bible, I think there is a verse that says that the Lord put you in the spot, He put everything that you require around you. So we are looking right here before we try to look outside, and for somebody to come and tell we have this, houses, pallets. 75% of those houses are pallets.
And even like looking behind us, we have the House of Soca, and you have Marshall jerseys and stuff inside. But if you look at the top, you're also seeing what the tiles are.
Hey, come on, come on.
It's tire tiles, you know.
Oh, come on. So we always pushing on somewhere. Sometimes in we self, sometimes you had the belief, okay, this is the one that make it. This is the idea that make it to the commercialization period now. But we just keep going and we keep going and all right, okay, we stop on an idea, okay, this is something we cannot do. This cannot be done.
And sometimes it's at that point in time.
That is one thing that cannot be done. Okay, let's try this one now. And then we try this area. So you already putting down things that you cannot do, how you try to do it, so you leave in a blueprint for the future.
And talking about we stopping on that idea, we're stopping on that point. We're taking a short break. We're speaking with George Caesar, the captain and driller of the Siparia Deltones Steel Orchestra. Stay with us, we'll return with more. This is In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. We are speaking with George Caesar, driller and captain of the Siparia Deltones Steel Orchestra. And I like the fact that you talk about just this, a space where there's encouragement and enthusiasm and energy put into pushing the envelope, jumping out of the box, and seeing what is the next thing that can be done by these brilliant minds. And right now, the Emancipation Support Committee, they are describing, looking at the role of, is it steel pan and calypso or calypso and steel pan? But they're also describing panmen as scientists because you experiment with this thing, and like you said, okay, well, this didn't work, but one of the differences, I think, is that you're actually putting that down. So there's that work that is there so that people can see it as opposed to just word of mouth sometimes. But what are some of the other things that are going on? And I say with the pallets on the compound itself, because I see grow boxes. So, and you spoke about railway pizza. What are some of those other things that you can itemize and say, well, this is happening in the space?
When we thought about railway pizza to start with, there had to be what differentiates this pizza from all the pizzas. Yeah, we baking it in a discarded pans, but what was that next thing that pushed it? Because we want to stop right there. Okay, we realized that we would require a lot of produce, and here we already provided by a certain percentage of this produce by Y Farm, but we also want to show that farm to plate. So we started our greenhouse. The ministry is actually doing what they call the Shade House program currently, and we realized, okay, Shade House, Okay, so we had some of the interns here, and this was where the places they were stationed for a couple weeks, and we started building the shade houses, so they were instrumental in helping us build those shade houses where they gained the experience of building it, so that when it's their time to build it, they could build it. That is one. We also have a homework center here, because we predominantly deal with youth. And okay, they come in the panyard, so we say 3 days a week for 3 hours, but that's 3 hours they could have been doing something else. So we don't want the education to suffer because they want to be punished. No, we have to come with the education as well. So we have a homework center where members of the orchestra are the teachers. Alpha is the maths man. So he runs up with maths lessons. Then we have English. Ian is just like a great English grammar person. He teaches the English class. All right, we didn't have let me say a physics teacher in. All right, we call a physics teacher. And that physics teacher would be even so impressed to come and teach that physics class. Because when you're just saying, well, we have these physics students, but this is what you're contributing to. And they're always running. And that's just some of the things. Right here we enter upcycling. So we're looking for different things. All right, we start to build a greenhouse where the walls are out of bottles. So we realized that will reflect a certain amount of the sunlight outside, but bringing the wanted sunlight that we're looking for inside as well. And we realized we drink a lot of water. So we store all of our water bottles here for further recycling use, So we're looking for situations where we could close the gap, where we could have a full circle. So we have a pizza selling. The chef walks, he picks the greenery from the greenhouses, and it comes straight to the pizza. You realize, ooh, this is fresh goods. So that circle, all right, we climb that circle there. Then we come to the circle of the pan players and the importance of the studies. We close that gap as well. So the parents would now send them freely, because they realize, oh shucks, this maths lessons is actually $80 a session. Let me just say one day for the week, I saving how many? $300 and something already for the month. So then when we ask a parent to provide refreshments for this night, the parent is Tuesday? I'm there. No, I just sweetbreads with come on. Because we just realize that the human resource is real important. So we put a lot into that. Yeah, with children, and we say, but we children already when they leave in school already have what they intend to do in mind already. Because that's what they're doing. Till they're on the farm with Alpha. And yes, sir, and we hydroponics, I'm looking at it, and we see how the system, they wanted to build a hydroponics, okay, next week we starting to build that.
And that's one of the things I really like, in the sense that sometimes it feels as though you're in school and you're just learning English, maths, and whatever. So you have these things on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it feels as though you could be lacking experiences.
Definitely.
So when you come out of school, that's when you're now looking to find yourself. But at that point in time, you're already feeling the pressure to be a productive member of society. Somebody say, big horse like you, and you are walking, you don't know what you want to do, and you're just drifting from one thing to the other. And a space like this allows for those experiences. Okay, I like this, or no, I don't like this. So you already have that out of your system. So you're able to work forward to what it is you do like, and you know, they say it makes sense to do what you like, so that money could come from that.
Definitely.
As opposed to every day you reach and you're vexed with life.
This again.
And we're not even talking about traffic to go.
And right there, we realize that when a pan player reaches a certain age, he has to choose now between the pan and his job. So over the years, I'm talking about people that I grew up with. All right, he got a job in the oil field. What we going to do again? So he had to put the pan on outsiders, or forget about the pan for now to be able to get this and cement his position in this job. So then we realized, okay, we had to create job opportunities. So we created an alternative to what was planned in the classroom at that point in time. In private schools where we teach and we enter the children into competitions to show the weight of your curriculum. Now. And I could say that we started to breed teachers. Yeah, just now we have teachers in different schools that now lend back those players to the organization. Or else is nothing. Like what organization you know deals with human resource and churns that human resource and not thinking about how to get more human resource. So that's why we started schools. So now in those schools, now those children, when they're seeking a more pan-playing experience, they join the junior orchestra. And then from the junior orchestra, they into the senior orchestra. So isn't that we're talking about closing gaps and bridging those circles? Isn't that what we are doing?
Well, it's time to close the gap on this conversation, but I want to thank you very much for just kind of opening our eyes to possibilities, because that's the important thing. Eh? It might be saying, okay, well, do this, but opening your eyes to possibility, that tomato tulum still blowing my mind. Eh? But thank you very much, George Caesar.
That was all mine, man.
And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you so much for joining us.